Ladies and gentlemen, a huge, massive Trump W. Donald Trump, our fearless leader, is going to basically be reopening insane asylums and taking the craziest and most dangerous among us and putting them back where they belong, inside a cell where they can't hurt themselves and others. Because Democrat policies and liberalism has been one of the most unmitigated failures over the last 70 years, whether it be soft on crime policies, economics, unfettered illegal immigration. Everything that the left has tried and actually implemented has been a disaster. Now, it's not going to stop them because their mentality is based on pride, one of the most destructive of the seven deadly sins. And they say, well, no, other people have tried my ideas and failed, but I can implement it perfectly. That is hubris. That is the human ego. Yes, socialism has resulted in 100 million dead in the 20th century, but I am the one that's going to bring back this ideology and really make it work, which just goes to show you these people are fucking insane. And that brings us to the insane asylums. Donald Trump has announced a massive win where he is going to be reopening these institutions. So let's watch Asmongold talk about this, and I agree with him vehemently when it comes to this.
In a box, bro. Put them in a box. And I guarantee you, guys, I promise you that the good days, the golden age is almost here. All we need to do is put 2% of the population in institutions and jail, and everything is going to go, every problem in society will go away.
Well, it really comes down to numbers, doesn't it? Asmongold says, well, guys, if you lock up 2% of the population, all problem goes away. If you talk to Nick Fuentes, they'd say 13% of the population needs to go away and all of our problems go away. Now we're just getting down to numbers, percentages, and math. But the reality is that Asmongold is correct. If you take the most violent, the most dangerous, the most mentally ill people and you remove them from society, which is something that Democrats have been opposed to, Democrats can't even agree that it's not a good idea to have illegal criminal aliens in this country who are gang members and rapists and murderers. Like, we're at a place where Kilmore Obrego Garcia is about to go free because rogue radical leftist judges are saying, well, he deserves to have his day in court and he should be released. The guy is in the country illegally. He has 2 orders of removal. This entire thing is bullshit. And by the way, I don't think that these institutions should only be housed with, people who are homeless or something. I think you should take these rogue Democrat judges and put them in the institution as well. These people have tried to erode and destroy Western civilization for the past 40 years. It's insane what these freaks have been able to get away with. But there's a show called Game of Thrones that talks about this very thing. And I actually want to show it to you. This is a scene where Tyrion Lannister and Bronn, who is at this point Tyrion's, swordsman, he's his protector, and they're about to have a conversation about prisoners. And I think this is a very revealing, very insightful conversation. And I actually agree with Bronn in this particular instance. That when you are in a position where you're about to be under siege, rounding up all of the prisoners or all the people that are criminals is a benefit to not just them in their position, but the entire kingdom.
Martha, I must compliment you on the Gold Cloak's performance these last few weeks. Did you know there has been a marked drop in thievery?
I did not know. And how did you accomplish this marked drop in thievery? Me and the lads rounded up all the known thieves.
For questioning?
No. It's just the unknown thieves we need to worry about now.
We talked about this.
Aye, we talked about it. Have you ever been in a city under siege? Maybe this part's not in your books. See, it's not the fighting that kills most people, it's the starving. Food's worth more than gold. Noble ladies sell their diamonds for a sack of potatoes. Things get bad enough. The poor start eating each other. The thieves, they love a siege. Soon as the gates are sealed, they steal all the food. By the time it's all over, they're the richest men in town.
Given the circumstances, my lord, I believe extreme measures are warranted. Ah, the Great Sea.
Yeah. Absolutely. What Braun said there, I mean, it's so basic. Like, we rounded up all of the known criminals because, you know, at this point they were about to be holed up in their castle. And yeah, when the gates close, the thieves steal all the food and then sell it back to the people at a premium price. The reality is that our society has been held hostage by liberal and Democrat policies for far too long. And now we need to reinstitute insane asylums in order to basically help these people and help society. Now, Democrats are going to be very upset about this because they're the ones who are mentally ill and they're the ones who are morally repugnant. So they're going to say, I should be able to do whatever I want. If I want to go out there and burn a cop car and, you know, take a shit on the hood and, you know, cause chaos and stuff, I should be allowed to do that. No. If you throw rocks at police, if you are engaging in violence that is disruptive to our civilization, you should be put down. An insane asylum or a padded cell is a compromise. Okay, we won't kill you for your obvious anti-civilization behavior, but we're going to remove you. And you can be as angry as you want at the world within your cell. I agree with this 100%.
Pretty well, like 95% of the problems will go away. Yeah, 100% of blue sky. Yeah, 90, but more like 5%. Well, 2% would be the minimum, right? And you would obviously go from there. And this, but not ironically, I'm not joking. I'm not joking. Like, I think that, no, I actually think so. Look at El Salvador. That guy went and he put everybody in jail, and then all the problems stopped happening. What a fucking surprise. Oh, how? Who could have guessed that? So there you go. Goons over horse girls? Yes, exactly. Also get rid of the pedo elites. True. True. So yes, very, very clearly, very obviously, Trump has been watching the streams. And I'm going to be honest, I'm going to miss these. The Rust bases that these people would build.
So, I used to live in an area where I wasn't directly in the vicinity of these Rust bases, as he calls them, but I was within enough travel distance, 30, 40 minutes. I would have to go to Oakland, California. And it's hard to describe to people who may have never seen something like this what the actual result of Democrat policies look like. But it's something that you only have to experience once to understand that you should never vote for another Democrat again. It isn't that you just immediately vote Republican, because that's not where I'm at. That's not my philosophy, that you just blindly support the Republicans. Because Republicans, generally speaking, are incredibly weak and pathetic and go back on their word and go back on their promises and will say, oh, I'm going to go there and be the biggest conservative, and then they go there and they're basically a liberal. They're a rhino. But I've seen in Oakland, California, the encampments that are built like this. that go on and on and on, and it is a den of misery and despair and drugs and crime. And if Donald Trump can get these people off of the street and put them in a padded cell where they can get the help that they need, get on the medication they need, see an actual doctor, I think in helping these people, we help ourselves. The Democrat approach is basically more libertarian in nature. Let people be homeless, let people be criminals, let people do all this stuff, and then just do patchwork solutions. So you've got a homelessness problem. Homeless people are sleeping in front of businesses. What do? Well, we're going to make the benches and architecture more uncomfortable to sleep on. So you have this like gothic nightmare looking bench that has these spikes that come up during the day or or at night so that you can't sleep on them. Like there is this huge attempt to patchwork all of the problems that have been caused by liberalism and their failed quote unquote compassionate policies. But at the end of the day, what's ultimately going to solve this is a tough on crime and tough on mental illness approach. We're not going to affirm your mental illnesses anymore. We're not going to accept it. We're not going to tolerate it. We're going to treat it in the most compassionate way possible, which is to take you, round you up, and put you in these facilities where doctors can look at you and say, okay, you're really suffering from this mental illness. You're not going to be able to leave. We're going to give you this medication. We're going to give you this treatment, and we're going to try to get you to a point where you can live and lead a normal life. You're not going to be able to do just drugs unfettered anymore. You're not going to be able to just take up space anymore and pollute these cities and be a disgusting nuisance and take shits in the street. I remember when I went to San Francisco as a kid, it was so beautiful. It was so nice. Oh my God. I went to FAO Schwartz, which was a huge toy store. It was a massive, massive toy store, like something out of Willy Wonka. It was great. But as I got older, things just got gradually worse to the point where when I would go as an adult, I would have to be apprehensive. And it's such a contradiction because anywhere else that I go, not in California, I bring my firearm. I mean, of course you do. It's just basic. I have a concealed carry permit. But in California, it's almost impossible to legally carry a firearm to defend yourself. So not only do Democrat policies lead to more crime, a lower trust society, and all these sort of major issues, but they also criminalize you defending yourself. We need to undo all of the destruction that these Democrat and liberal policies have caused the United States over the past 70 or 80 years. And Donald Trump is our best hope to do that until we get J.D. Vance in there in 2028. And then maybe we can put the final nail in the coffin on this ridiculous, destructive, failed ideology. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for supporting the channel. Of course, you're going to get people like this. Mentally ill retards. That, by the way, should be in the padded cell. It's so strange how the most worthless members of society, like Asman, are the ones most eager to be cruel to others. Worthless. By what metric would you call Asmongold worthless? That is so crazy to me. By what standard? Like, who is this person? This retard is no friend of the Democrat Party, and it would be nice if left-wing media stopped supporting him. Well, that's definitely true. Socialists and communists are nothing but a cancer to the left. What an interesting... Two of them... Oh, so an anti-Trump... Oh, here we go. Here we go. I miss pre-MAGA brain rot Asmongold so much, man. So much. So this guy really just has a problem with Asmongold, not being a leftist that just plays endless World of Warcraft. I think that's what it is. He liked Asmongold before when he didn't talk about politics and he just played WoW and, the good old days for this guy. The good old days. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, the reality is that what Asmongold is talking about, I think would actually serve our civilization and our species better than a lot of people are going to want to admit. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for supporting the channel, and I'll see you next time.